Welcome to my very first The Shield Season 1 episode review video. Before I talk about that though, extremely important, if you haven't watched the entire pilot episode of The Shield all the way through, then it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, I've already watched The Shield all the way through one time. However, it's been a while, but I really like the show, so whether you've seen it or not, join me on the journey. Let's discuss this awesome and amazing show in the comment section. Make sure to Hulk smash the like button, share the video, comment with your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to the channel. With that said, this will be The Shield Season 1, Episode 1. The title of this episode is called Pilot. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing rewatching the episode. We start with Captain David Aceveda, who holds a press conference to appraise the decrease in Farmington's crime and violence rates following the opening of the new office known as the Barn. While he speaks, detectives Vic Mackey, Shane Vandrell, Curtis Lemansky, and Ronnie Gardocki, known as the Strike Team, chase, assault, and arrest a non-violent drug dealer while new recruit Terry Crowley watches. As they lead the beaten dealer away, Aceveda asks the reporters in attendance if they have any questions. Detective and partners Holland Dutch Wagenbach and Claudette Wims are called to the scene of a murder. A woman named Nancy Reborg. Officer Danny Sofer leads Dutch Boy, or Dutch, or Wagenbach, whatever you want to call him, out to talk to the victim's sister, Janet, and he gives Danny his current profile of the killer, either a family member or a lover. Janet becomes distressed after learning of the murder and is led away by Danny and her partner, Julian. As she leaves, Janet asks about Nancy's daughter, Jenny. As the strike team brings the drug dealer back to the barn, Vic Mackey declines to talk to reporters and instead goes to meet with Aceveda when called. A drug attorney, Jose Garcia, and his client, Miguel Estiena, are waiting for him. Estiena has filed a complaint regarding Vic Mackey's use of excessive force during the arrest, but Vic Mackey reminds Estiena that he caught him with heroin. Garcia warns him that they will contest the case and a judge and the two leave. Aceveda reminds Vic Mackey that this is fourth complaint, but Vic Mackey denies the charges. While discussing the Reborg murder, Dutch Boy, Wagenbach, Dutch, whatever you want to call him, asks Claudette if Danny would go on a date with him, but Claudette encourages him to look elsewhere. They brief Aceveda on the case, their priority finding Nancy's husband Lonnie, a known drug addict. Claudette plans to start a local fence known as Ponyboy Harris, who was seen at the Reborg residence a day prior. Dutch awkwardly tries to flirt with Danny, but is interrupted by Vic Mackey and Shane Vandrell, who do not like Dutch because of his intellectual attitude. They crack jokes about how it looked as though Janet was performing oral sex on Dutch at the crime scene. Vic Mackey privately asks Danny out on a date, but she reminds him that he is married and he references the fact that has not always stopped her. Crowley watches Vic Mackey and Shane Vandrell talk to a drug dealer named Rondell Robinson, which Vic Mackey declines to explain. When he meets with Aceveda to report this, Aceveda explains his theory that Vic Mackey is chipping away at Robinson's competition 2x in exchange for a reduced street crime. Crowley agrees to help him build a case against Vic Mackey, and Aceveda introduces him to the Department of Justice employees, Moses Hernandez, who also wants to take down Vic Mackey. Crowley agrees to a full informant job in exchange for a job in the department. Claudette arrests Harris for his possession of stolen VCRs. VCRs, what are those? He knows nothing about Jenny, but explains that Lonnie was at a crack house run by a man named Monty. Claudette asks Vic about the crack house, and he tells her he is aware of it and will get Lonnie for her. He finds Lonnie high and notices children without parents in the crack house. He warns Monty to keep them away from drugs. And then back at the barn, Lonnie is too high to remember what happened to Nancy, but eventually comes down and confesses to Dutch and Claudette that he killed her and sold Jenny to a man for $200. He identifies, or who he identifies as George Sawyer. Sawyer is arrested and subject to interrogation. While getting him coffee, Dutch notices that someone has stolen food off his desk and makes a scene of it. Vic laughs at him and Dutch orders him to stay away from his desk. And then back in the interrogation room, Dutch tries to manipulate Sawyer by pretending to believe pedophilia is as moral as homosexuality, but does not get Jenny's location. Vic, Mackey, and Shane Vandrell pay a visit to Estiana, and Aceveda informs him that Estiana is dropping the charges. When Aceveda orders Vic Mackey to write up a report on it by the next day, Vic brushes him off and dismisses him in front of the nearby officers. Julian and Danny are called to investigate slash tires on a car. The couple it belongs to, Fran and Hopper, or believe Fran's ex, Lamar Tilton, may be responsible. Vic Mackey visits Connie, a prostitute that gives him information in exchange for drugs, taking a bribe from a pimp along the way. Connie tells him that Two-Time is still having a party that Vic Mackey was aware of and that he ordered 4 prostitutes for the event. Vic gives her the narcotics she wanted as well as some money to take care of her son with and sends her off. Dutch continues to manipulate Sawyer, pretending to have a teenage daughter who has friends that he is attracted to. As Claudette and Aceveda watch on the security camera, Aceveda asks her for her thoughts on Vic Mackey. Claudette acknowledges that his tactics are immoral but still effective. She warns him that Vic Mackey has friends higher up than Aceveda. Danny and Julian track down Tilton, who confesses to the slashing. He justifies it by claiming he put money down on the car and feels as though it belongs to him. He is arrested regardless. Sawyer confesses to buying Jenny, but he found her too young and traded her for another girl to a Dr. Bernard Grady. Vic Mackey hosts a barbecue for the strike team and their families, where he tells the assembled team about an upcoming raid. Two-Time has been difficult to nail because of his habit of not keeping drugs on him, but Connie's information confirms there will be drugs at the party. Vic Mackey ends the meeting by announcing Terry will be joining the team, Terry Crowley. Claudette and Dutch grill Grady, who refuses to talk despite Dutch trying his homosexuality comparison on him. Aceveda asks Vic Mackey for help. When Grady refuses to talk to him, Vic shuts the door and begins beating Grady with a phone book, while Aceveda turns off the video recording and Dutch and Claudette leave the room. Vic emerges from the room and gives Aceveda the address Jenny is being held at. Aceveda, Claudette, and Dutch raid the address and find Jenny being held in a secret basement. Claudette holds her. Dutch again tries to flirt with Danny, and she turns him down. Already having a date, they notice a strange smell and find dog feces in the desk. Knowing Vic did it, he angrily shouts at him, and Vic sarcastically mocks him in response. And observing Aceveda comments to Claudette that the feces is just a common prank on detectives who think highly of themselves. Dutch again tries to flirt with Danny, and she turns him down. Already having a date, they notice a strange smell and find dog feces in his desk. Two-Time is with his girlfriend at his house when Ronnie Gardocki breaks an upstairs window and the strike team slips in through it. Two-Time tries to flush his drugs and fires on Vic Mackey. When noticed, Two-Time, Vic, and Shane trade fire and Two-Time is killed. As Shane and Vic stand over his body and Crowley stands behind him, Vic takes the dealer's gun and shoots Terry Crowley in the face with it. Vic stands over him, frowning, and shakes his head. And that's what ends this crazy episode of The Shield. So it's a really good episode. Not the greatest premiere ever, but really solid show with, Vic Mackey killing a cop at the end of the episode, which obviously sets us on what we're going to see in The Shield. So I'm going to give the episode an 8.3 out of 10. And my character of the episode, he's really the character of every episode, Vic Mackey. He's just like Dexter Morgan. He's just like Walter White. He's like the antagonist that you sometimes have to root for. And that's what's the case with Vic Mackey. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The Shield and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Not a lot of people cover The Shield. It's an older show. I'm covering it. Make sure you leave your thoughts, anything in the comment section, like I said. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100K subscribers. Yes, I know I set my goals high. Join the team, share your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.